The entrepreneurs and innovators that I know take serious action.
What I find, and I talk to a lot of, not just young entrepreneurs, but middle-aged people, women and men that feel stuck in their jobs. And what I see is the biggest mistake that they're making is they limit their point of entry. So when we give, we feel good and the person receiving feels good. And so the more that you give, once again, not only are you making yourself happier, but you're making other people happy.
Need motivation?
Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like nah, 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 nah. For my top 10, top 10, nah, nah, nah. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because chances are you are the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, David Meltzer, and my take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Don't limit your point of entry.
What I find, and I talk to a lot of, not just young entrepreneurs, but middle-aged people, women and men that feel stuck in their jobs. And what I see is the biggest mistake that they're making is they limit their point of entry. Everybody's looking for, Mr. Meltzer, how do I become a sports agent? Do I do this? Like, if I reversed engineered how I became a sports agent, went to law school, was gonna be an oil and gas lawyer, maybe a sports agent, but then got into the internet and then I sold legal research online. Then I went to Silicon Valley and raised a bunch of money for a wireless proxy server company, then became CEO of a handheld company, then lose everything, right? Who's gonna buy that advice? Yeah. The real advice is don't limit your point of entry. So my entire career was about the pursuit of my potential, and I enjoyed what I did every day. I'm not a got-to person. Like, I never say, I gotta go to work, or I gotta go home, or I gotta babysit my kids. It's, I get to. Right? And the minute you get to and you don't limit the point of entry, the world has unlimited possibilities because there's enough of everything for everyone. And what I see the biggest mistake that most people make is they think there's some direct path, right? Some key, if you go to law school and you do work for Wasserman and then you're gonna end up being Jerry Maguire. BS. Right? Just don't limit your point of entry. Pursue your potential, your skills, your knowledge, and your desire, and have that passion, purpose, and profitability. You'll get to where you want to go. It'll manifest itself in the right way at the perfect time.
Rule number 2, learn to communicate.
I teach effective communication. Effective communication is connecting. The problem we have is that there's so many mediums today to connect with. There's some people that still actually have a pencil out right now and are writing on this piece of paper, and it says notes there. All the way to people on their laptops and iPads and cell phones and all the different ways, and Insta and Twitter and all the different mediums there are. And I laugh because my mom, who has all of these grandkids now, it's amazing, right? So my mom, of course, calls me with that martial art, and she goes, David, your kids are not calling me. It's like I have enough to do. I'm like, that's fine, because they don't talk to me either. I got 3 teenage girls. I'm the last one they want to talk to. You're second to last. No. And I said, well, do you use Instagram or Snapchat? No, I can't use that kind of stuff, Dave. Why can't they just pick up the phone and call me? And I laugh because we use it in my business the other way. They don't make phone calls, they don't email. But I started looking at them, wait a second. I said, Mom, your grandkids are the most important thing in your life, and you won't take 6 minutes to communicate with them. What do you mean? I'll take it all day to communicate. They won't talk to me. I said, no, to learn Instagram or Snapchat, it takes 6 minutes. I think, no, it doesn't. I said, yes, it does, because my 6-year-old, that's how long it took him to teach me. Right? We look at things, we're not effectively communicating. We're not effectively communicating, and we're not, there's a time. Right, what I teach is empowerment of communication. I look at my millennials and I tell them, hey, in this situation, it's best to text, because text creates efficiency. It doesn't have context and connotation, but it has efficiency to it. This is a situation where we got to meet face to face, and you have to look somebody in the eye and give them a firm handshake. And this is a situation you need to call them. And this is a situation that we need to use Instagram, or Twitter, or Facebook, or Snapchat, or Vine when it was available. Whatever it is, I now am a student of the medium.
Rule number 3, have a dream.
My mom, who's here, she moved me and my 5 siblings, 5 boys and 1 girl, out from Akron, Ohio, to San Diego, California. And we weren't very wealthy. My mom's a teacher, but one of the first trips that we got to take was to the Rose Bowl parade. And even I don't think Warren knows this story, but in 1978, my mom took me and my siblings all to the Rose Bowl parade about 4 in the morning. We had to drive up, sleep on the street or whatever it was. And all I could think of driving up was, I don't want to go to the parade. I want to go to the game. I wanted to go to the game so bad. I wanted to suit up in this locker room and perform in front of my family and my friends, and especially my mom. Sorry. I have mommy issues, so she's here right now. But I wanted to perform. And, as I was on Colorado Boulevard looking over at the Rose Bowl, I dreamed about being here and performing. And it is amazing what you can manifest. I am suited up and I'm ready to perform.
Rule number 4, give back.
I studied giving and the energy of giving, and the one thing that struck me and where this all started was 3 things happen biochemically when you give. When you give, you feel good. Serotonin is released in your brain. So the more you give, the more you're actually physically changing your physiology to be happy. The other interesting thing was that those who receive feel good, and serotonin is released in their brain as well. So when we give, we feel good and the person receiving feels good. And so the more that you give, once again, not only are you making yourself happier, but you're making other people happy. Hey, this is Dave Meltzer, and I'm gonna read my favorite paragraph of my friend Evan Carmichael's book, Built to Serve. Here's the secret. Dream big, act small. It is important to dream big. Your big dreams will motivate you. It'll inspire you to keep going when things get tough. It'll be a rallying call for your partners, suppliers, customers, and future employees. Keep a hold of your huge dream and then act small. Find the smallest possible way to get started, to take the first step, to get some momentum going. Dream big, but act small.
Rule number 5, find mentors.
The biggest piece of advice I have mentors. The best thing that I do still today is I find people that sit in the situation that I want to be in. So for example, I want to be a better golfer, so I play with a pro. And I ask you for help because you can accelerate my knowledge. Right? You can go through all those rounds of golf, and I promise you played so many more rounds of golf and have spent more hours at the range making mistakes and learning from that. So why should I have to experience that? Why can't I just jump and accelerate my experience to closer to your level and then achieve it? So I always have at least 3 mentors. When I wrote my book, I went to Napoleon Hill. When I did my TV show, I went to John Bogner from Undercover Boss as the producer. When I go to raise money, I go to Mark Kwame from Drive Financial, ex-Sequoia guy. I just go to the experts, and the best part about it is I'm not afraid to ask. And I ask simply, I say, even guys like Steve Wynn, can you mentor me about your relationship to money? And guys like that would say, what does that mean? I'd say very simply, give me your cell phone number and I won't bother you, but every once in a while I'll call you and I'll be concise, and can you just give me a little bit of guidance? Well, if you collect all of those mentors, imagine the stable of consultation that you have. Imagine the amount of acceleration in your life you could have because, I want to learn how to be a chef, so I can call Ming Tsai, right? One of my favorite chefs. Why? Because when I was at a party for Wheels Up, I asked him, dude, if I need a good recipe or need some advice about cooking, would you mind if I called you? Well, it's the biggest compliment you can give someone is to admire them and ask for their advice. Nobody says no, but don't waste their time, right? I got a 5-20 rule. Don't waste their time. If you're gonna call for advice, don't BS around. Just say, give me 1 minute. How do I make that tartar? Whatever it is.
Rule number 6, have good core values.
I believe there's 4 things that you teach, and they're all value-based. Number 1 is gratitude.
I believe you have a company that's gracious, that understands your past is wonderful no matter what has happened, your present is even better, but your future is even brighter. And gratitude, those two words, thank you. So I train everybody in my company to be gracious at all time. I actually train them to say or think thank you twice a day, before they go to bed and when they wake up. The second would be empathy, forgiveness. There's so many mistakes that are made when you're an innovator, right? Because you're actually taking imagination and through action, making it a reality. There's so many mistakes. You have to forgive yourself. And you definitely, if you don't forgive yourself, you can't forgive others. Once again, going below the line, which is the third point, into accountability. You have to be accountable for everything that happens. You have to take control of your life. No matter what happens in that business, if you are accountable, you are in control actually, which is counterintuitive. And then finally, the fourth is effective communication. The true value of communicating two ways though. One, up to that which inspires us, and two, out to empower others to be inspired. And those are the four values that are truly the way of building a culture.
Rule number 7, have focus.
Have a mission equation, which is really a resolution equation that shows how focus, the power of intention or focus, exponentially allows you to what I call manifest or attract what you desire or want rapidly and accurately. And that's really what makes us happy, right? We're pursuing our potential, but that potential is what we want, and it could be anything that we want. So how do I get what I want faster and more accurately? Well, the key ingredient is focus, and then what do you focus in on? Efficiencies and statistical success or awareness. And so what I teach is that pick and prioritize a few things to start. It could be your weight, it could be your finances, it could be your marriage or other relationships. Those are usually your typical resolution type of things. And take them and prioritize them. And then just give yourself an equation that says, I'm gonna spend X amount of minutes a day. And you gotta do it every day. It has to be part of that effective habit. And if you can focus in on this every single day, that's how you get the exponential effect of the power of intention or focus, and things will start coming to you rapidly and accurately. So it could be, and why you do it every day, it's like golf. I know you're a big golfer, Jason, but you'll agree that if I practice golf and focus in on golf 30 minutes a day, I am gonna be a tremendous better golfer than somebody that plays golf 5 hours on the weekend.
Rule number 8, find your mission.
Your mantra, mission statement of life, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. That's a seed your grandfather put into you at a young age.
Yeah, it gave me a great piece of advice too, right? That was the start of that, which was you only need 3 things in life to be happy.
Okay.
You need a good job.
Yeah.
Because a third of your life is spent working, so you need to love what you do. 2, you need to find one partner in life, because that's the liaison between you and your family and their family. Yeah. So you need one of the right partner. Mine is my wife, and they say behind every great man is a great woman. Not me. My wife is in front of me, pulling me along, making me great, and then allowing me to get all the credit.
Yeah.
And then the last one was pretty funny. My grandfather was from Russia. Okay. So he's like, you just need one bed. So buy the best bed that you can find, because you spend a third of your life sleeping and stooping.
Okay.
So, but it was good advice. So you need one woman, one job, and one bed.
Rule number 9, define happiness.
I have really one pursuit after a long journey, a fun journey though. And that pursuit, they made a movie about, but I didn't write the book. It's called The Pursuit of Happiness. Actually, Chris Gardner, the guy that wrote the book, is a dear friend of mine. And I've had deep conversations about happiness because I believe all people want is to be happy. And there's several ways to derive happiness. And I find that most people don't think about it. They don't define happiness. They don't make a plan for happiness. And they miss out. My definition of happiness is the pursuit of our potential. The pursuit of our potential, whether it's the potential as a father, a son, is a potential as a businessman, an entrepreneur, a sports hero. I find people are happy when they're in pursuit of their potential.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is take serious action.
The entrepreneurs and innovators that I know take serious action. And they take serious action with skills, knowledge, and desire. And they do that to monetize their dreams. That's what an innovator does. And so when I look at innovation in sports, I look at 3 things. Number 1, content. how do I monetize ideas? And I look at ideas because it's the most competitive thing in the world to monetize. There's a million great ideas out there. And people come through our doors all the time telling me about these great ideas. And I ask them one simple question: how are you going to make money from this? Now, the second part in monetization is it's great to have good ideas, but if nobody reads your book, or nobody watches the game, or nobody sees your movie, what good is it? So the second part of monetizing innovation in sports is access. How do we give people the access that they want? And it's really difficult today because, as you'll see, there's a lot of different ways people want to access content. The third one is mediums. There's all these different ways to communicate. There's still times that a fax is better, the phone call, a meeting in person. These effective ways, these mediums that we're using today, the ones that we're innovate, are the ways that we communicate with each other, the ways that we can inspire each other and then empower each other to empower more people. This sold-out crowd, standing room only, was simply the manifestation of all of these things: content, access, and mediums. So what I want everyone to do is remember, make all of your possibilities probabilities, and then take action to make it your reality.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video? And what is your specific plan of action for the next week? When you just watch a video and get motivated by it, you have a 35% chance of following through. But when you get motivated and then create a specific plan of action, you have a 91% chance of following through. That's what we do here, Believe Nation. We get motivated, but then we do something about it. And when you commit to other people, you increase your chances even further of following through. So, what was your biggest takeaway from this video? And then what is your plan of action around it for this week? Put it down in the comments below because I want to celebrate you.
The greatest entrepreneurs that I've met and have been trained by and mentored by in all different verticals. From I've worked in technology, I was CEO of Samsung's first phone division, and I ran Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment, the greatest sports agency in the world. But what those two organizations did differently as they were entrepreneurial was they really truly were at service first. They wanted to provide value and monetize that value that they provide. It wasn't that they were going to take value and try to get the most out of it.
If you want 10 more awesome rules from Dave Meltzer, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
It's very simple to be happy, and I know everyone here wants to be happy. The easiest way to be happy is to give. Number one rule of entrepreneurship: